and Nyakundi would remember Judge Said Koka of the Industrial Court.
Yep.
He was very friendly with the media, to the extent that he would actually try to influence the reporting of his court by suggesting the areas to emphasize, to place the emphasis on when he issued his judgment. So what he would do is he would send his written judgment with the sections that to him were important, underlined in red, and with a footnote. This is important. Emphasize this, emphasize this. Okay, it made the work because reporting the industrial court was always a very big challenge, but it made the work of the editor, of the reporter editor easy. But at the same time, it eroded the editor's decision making power. So you handed that decision over to the judge. I don't know whether that still happens. I know he was replaced later by somebody called Chemtut. Whether that was like bad habit or not, I don't know. But also to speak just a little more about accuracy. Accuracy, by the way, doesn't just refer to the text itself in terms of the facts as you are presenting. It also refers to details like the spellings of people's names. There is nothing that annoys judicial officers more than the misspelling of their names. And sometimes it goes to the extent where, and even mixing up names, it goes to the extent where somebody decides that the accused person, that the magistrate is the accused person. So you have a story that says so and so was jailed yesterday for whatever reason, and the name that is in that story as the person going to jail is that of the magistrate or the judge, not the accused person himself, and that really can get into a lot of trouble. So accuracy goes down to the very level of looking at the name. And if you are not sure about the person's names, there is no harm in approaching the person and ask them to spell the right name down for you, as some well-meaning photographers do when they are taking your pictures and they want to write a caption. Back to you, George.
Thank you. I think I want to comment about the name very briefly, something that just crossed my mind. I hope the judge is still serving. There's a judge called GBM Kariuki.
Yes, he's still serving.
Yeah. Now, GBM Kariuki GBM is his official name.
Yeah.
Once they may look like abbreviations, yes, but that is his official name, GBM Kariuki.
Oh.
Of course, if you decide now to publish what he originally used to be called, George Benedict Maina, he will come after you. And it will really cause a lot of issues because he went through legal processes until formally he became GBM Maina. It's not like the way we haphazardly decide to applicate our names. So when you mention names, I'm sure I remember that those who are very particular the manner in which they are referred to. Of course, the occasional mistakes, the cases in the High Court, and you are saying the magistrate said this. Or the cases in the magistrate's court, and you are saying the judge said this.
All right. Thanks, Nyakundi, and thanks, Wagedi. I think we have another 16 or so minutes. Any questions from the participants, please? Where you've there are issues relating, to maybe the relationship between yourselves as reporters and editors, but also some editors. Because some of these mistakes may actually happen in the newsroom, not with the reporters themselves. We've seen stories being edited, and they become inaccurate at that point. That may also maybe introduce tensions, not only between the judiciary or the courts and the media, but also within the media houses themselves. But I think I leave it to maybe the participants to ask any questions or to make any comments.
George, could they also, as they are pondering that, try and share with us their own experience with what I referred to earlier as court cartels? Because I know they are.
Yes.
If they could share that experience with us.
Definitely. Okay. So I can see a few people. Some of them are guests, but I can see Corazon, Njue. I think there were others before. Aaron from Kisumu. I think there are lots of interesting stories to tell from those regions. So if nobody is willing or volunteering to do that, shall I just call out the names? Corazon.
Yes, I have a point. You'll forgive me, I'm not very good with virtual meetings, so I'm using Sheila's phone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, so my name is Zipora. I'm a court reporter. I work for Hope FM.
Okay.
And the so-called court cartels. There's a time I was doing a story here at the courts. It was for a beer making company. So the PRO wanted to do the story. He told me this story will not go anywhere because you've already talked to the editors. And true to his word, the next morning the story did not see the light of day. So I don't know if that qualifies that as part of the cartels, because you do a story and then the PRO tells you this story will not go anywhere, and the next day, of course, the story dies. So I don't know. And also, when we're reporting on court matters, sometimes if you think that we need to create a rapport with the judicial officers, like for example, the ELC, the Environmental Land Court Division, they're not very friendly. So when you want to do a story, you're asked to go to the DR and you're asked to do a letter for them to respond. So sometimes you need you need to go through to peruse the file, but you don't get a timely response on the same day. Those are my observations. Thank you.
Okay. Does Wangari want to maybe respond to that? As the biggest gatekeeper in the biggest media house for many years, he probably had so many of those complaints.
That's not what I was referring to in the
yes.
But it is the motto. These are guys that are so close with one another, they do each other favors. Maybe the editor gets some Christmas package or some other consideration at some point, and he feels he has to do this guy a favor. Or maybe there's a lot of business that that media house gets from the company, and therefore he feels obliged to return a favor. But it is a big problem. The cartels I was talking about is where journalists come together as a pack and they decide to control the agenda of court reporting in terms of where the focus should be placed. And this is obviously determined by discussion and consultation they have had with their paymasters. And their paymasters in these cases would be lawyers. Lawyers they will then put you aside after the proceedings in the court and trying to influence your reporting by giving you ideas that were not part of the proceedings in court. So those kind of hotels. And cases are killed at that point. Very many cases are killed at that point. I remember one time sitting in the newsroom and I don't know whether he's still practicing, Georgiadis, I'm not sure whether he's still practicing, calls me at 6 o'clock and he tells me, Mr. Editor, I've just called to give you a warning. I've just come out of a matter, a very important matter, and I noticed something very strange happening between your reporter and the lawyers on the other side. And that tells me that story is not going to see the light of day. And if it's not in the paper tomorrow, I will raise hell. So what do? I call the news desk. Did you send reporter so and so to cover these proceedings? Yes, I did. Is he back yet? No. So call him. So he calls the reporter, and the reporter is gone home already. So I have to talk to him. And he tells me, oh, the matter ended so late, I decided it was too late for the paper. Do you know, I called him back to the office at that late hour, got him to sit down and do the story. And that was the end of the matter. No, we're not quite the end of the matter. He got off with a stiff warning. So those cartels are the ones I'm talking about.
Yes. I mean, I got and there have been accusations about that. In so many fora. That yes, there's a group of journalists that control stories that come out of the courts. I mean, these experiences are good for our understanding of what happens in court, but also as part of enhancing professionalism. As I started by saying, the import of these conversations is to enhance not only the relationships that we have, but also as a way of ensuring that the media are credible, the journalists are credible, they are reliable sources of information, they are reliable sources of what is going on in the courts. So I think it's important for the journalists here to share their own experiences. So other than Zipporah, I'm sure there are other people that may want to share their own experiences and refer maybe specifically to what Wangedi was talking about, whether you, not whether you're part of the cartels, but whether maybe some people have tried to tell you that this story, don't cover it, or cover this one, cover it this way. Yes. Anybody else? I wish I could see the names. I can see Corazon. I think, Corazon, are you trying to say something? Because then you're muted. Unmute yourself, although you look like you're unmuted. I don't know why we can't hear you. Or is it just me?
Maybe Corazon, you can try removing your earpiece. The earpiece could be a problem. Not yet. Yeah, try now. Still have a problem.
I think we still have a problem. Okay, the Corazon, you can use the chat, maybe type something. Yeah, I can see two guests on my screen. There is the lady with the mask on, and there is the man. I can't. I only see guests, but yes. And then there is Kenneth Kazungu, who's just maybe put on his camera. So I think we still have a few moments. So if each one of you can take a minute, and obviously the others that I can't see.
To say something. Yeah, I've already said something.
Yes, the lady, we can hear you. Say something. You've just said, I want to say something.
What I wanted to say, can you hear me? No, what I want to say is that sometimes it is very difficult to get information from the registry. You said from the registry, or from the registry. Even some of the magistrates and judges, they throw journalists out of court. That has been a great problem. So when you want to cover, like there's another case we wanted to cover in another magistrate court, and then the magistrate locked us out and said it's because of COVID. So it was not because of COVID. It was because she doesn't want us to cover that story. So covering court cases is also a challenge. You have to have sources. You have to make sure you have a clerk who will help you. Also, you have to have a good rapport with the magistrates. When they hate you, sometimes you don't get that information. And then they start complaining about you. They call you to the chambers. They throw words against you. They say, "Why do you write this story like this?" It's like they want to take a certain angle of the story. Like there's this story I wrote about the Raila and the Uhuru sometime back, CCTV footage. The magistrate summoned me and she was like, "I did not say they should record statements," but she said that, But she was like, she wanted me to write the story in a different way. So like getting stories in court is also a problem.
All right.
Sometimes we fear for our lives sometimes that we really have to cover.
George, I'm intrigued by that that statement.
Yes, I wanted to just a moment.
If I want to go to the High Court or the Magistrates Court today to cover a story, I'll find an open door and walk in and sit somewhere. Where do the restrictions come from? Nyakundi just told.
No, she just no, she started asking, can you introduce yourself? Who are you? Why are you taking photos? And why are you in my court? Can you explain yourself? It is really very frustrating. And you know, they have put posters everywhere in this court that we should not take photos without authority.
Which courts are these?
When the proceedings are going on, and you find this like certain cases are big stories. You know, we have to cover. So when a magistrate tells you, get out of my court, you have no authority to cover. You know. And I start asking, who are you? You know, it's really stressful because you cannot go introducing yourself when the court is on process.
Okay, can you introduce yourself? I didn't get your name.
My name is Sheila Mutua. I'm from K24.
All right, Sheila Mutua, K24. And Wangedi wanted to respond, and then Nyakundi respond as well. But Wangedi, please.
I think I said my piece. I was just intrigued by that statement because I thought covering court proceeding was a matter of walking in and finding a place to sit, putting out your notebook and taking
No, it is not a walk-in and just cover because they have put posters in every court that we are not supposed to take photos.
I've changed a lot since I was last there.
All right, Sheila and Wangedi, thank you, and Nyakundi, because I know also that sometimes you can't just walk into court. There are a few restrictions. You're obviously not supposed to take pictures. That one is a no-go. Something that shouldn't be done. But Nyakundi, do you want to respond quickly?
Mute. Njero, unmute Nyakundi. Njero.
Thank you.
Njero.
Yes, I'm unmuted now. Hello.
Nyakundi is muted.
No.
After you muted.
No, I'm okay. Yes. What I wanted to say, and I am glad the lady has raised this issue. And if you read a guide to court reporting in Kenya, it clearly tells you that the courts expect some things from journalists. If a court is in session and you want to disrupt it by taking or clicking pictures, surely there must be some restrictions.
True.
And usually what happens is that you need to take pictures from courts with their permission. They're the ones who know when you can take those pictures without disrupting the due process of court. The other point I want to make across is that there are things we call chamber matters, there are in-camera proceedings, and there are also matters that are for the public. So as a court reporter, you need to know the distinction. A matter may be in an open court, but it's not a matter that is available to the public. They are merely moved to an open court because the space within the chambers is not enough. But it's a chamber matter, which you ordinarily you need permission of the parties, not even the court, to cover. So it really depends on what the matters are. Or it's a children's issue, and it's supposed to be held in camera. Or it's a matter that is sensitive, especially, for example, testimony coming from a victim of rape or any other indecent acts. You're not going to just walk in.
Yeah.
And ideally, what has happened, I think, already over time because of Al-Shabaab and other issues, the courts want to know who they are dealing with, who come to their courts. So if you are asked to identify yourself, for me, I think it's not a big deal. Just if you identify yourself that you are a court reporter, you have identification to that effect, you have sorted out the issue. Because you see, as a judicial officer, you are presiding over a matter, and then you are seeing a stranger doing many other things. How do you know whether this is Al-Shabaab or whether this is a journalist?
Correct.
Right. So, if the person is doing it in the middle of things, there is no harm in inquiring. But I think my sister here takes offense when somebody wants to find out who she is in an open meeting.
But if the matter is of public interest, and you really have to cover that story. And they know us, they really know us. So sometimes it's intentionally. intentionally get out of my court just because you wrote a story and that magistrate was unhappy about it. So she has to
Okay.
kick you out, or he has to kick you out of the court.
I don't want to hold the judiciary, but I am assuming that every marketer are mad people. Maybe that's one of the mad people that you have met.
Thanks, Nyakundi, and thanks, Sheila, and thanks, Wangedi. Thanks, everybody. I think we've taken more time than we intended to. Yes, but as you said, sometimes, and Sheila, let me say that it's the relationship that you have with the people in the court. A judge, if you're put together, and they are happy with your children, there is a reason why they don't want you to cover them. We're not going to with you. But I think and if you're in good terms with them, I don't think there'll be any challenge. But thank you very much to everybody that has participated in this session today. We are glad, we don't take this lightly. As we said, as Ted, we are interested in advancing your knowledge of court reporting, and this is why the guidelines were developed. Obviously in collaboration with Internews, and we appreciate Dr. Nyakundi's experience. We appreciate Wangedi Mwangi's interventions, and these are important in the conversations that we've had today, and we can organize others in future if I'm sure all of you that participated today are part of the court reporting association, I'm told, or court reporter association. So we can organize another session to engage further with the issues. At this point, let me invite Annie. I think there's something that she wanted to say, and then I'll invite Abraham to make some closing remarks. But let me thank you, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Annie, please. Annie, we can't hear you. I've unmuted you now.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for being part of this with the support of Internews. One key thing is that there's a form that has just been sent out to all of us. Let's ensure that it's filled. It's a participation form. Secondly, there was the earlier registration, which you needed to have signed before you logged in. I think at this point now we have Marita come on board so that we can do the evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. So I'm not really doing an evaluation. I'm just going to post the link so that you can basically fill just to give us feedback on what you think about this meeting. And if you're able to post it, I would appreciate. I'm somehow unable to see it. Just post it on the chat. The other thing before I just say thank you is that please ensure you register. I only have 5 people who have registered as participants in this training. Corazon, Njue, Faith, Dr. Eneo, and Gordon. Please ensure you register as a participant. We will be giving you airtime reimbursement to just take care of your bundles for being able to get into this meeting, but we cannot do that if we don't have this information or a way of communicating with you. So please ensure you do that. Let me just post it again. Someone is asking where it is.
What, the registration form? Or what?
Yes. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
It's on the chat.
It's on the chat.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Where is the chat? Have you seen the chat?
On the chat, posting it again. It should pop up. George, it's not that one. The latest one I posted.
Oh, not the one with the 6. Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. I delete mine then. Okay.
Yeah, look at the one I've posted. Your chat should be, if you look at your screen, there's a blue button on the right. Click that button to open the chat and the attendees here.
Blue button? Where's the blue button?
On the right side of the screen.
Right side of the screen.
Right side.
It's a,
Yeah.
it's a blue,
I can't see.
If you're using a mobile device,
Can we get them on email? Where is the
Let you explain. Do you have
if you're using your mobile device,
it's actually available.
if you're using your mobile device, look for like 3 dots to open the menu, then you see the chat.
Okay. Okay, Jero. So, once again, I appreciate all of you for getting time to participate. I heard that there was a big case today. I don't know whether it took place. I'm going to wait on your news story so that whether it took place. And this case could have basically prevented some of you from participating. But anyway, there's so much noise coming from somewhere. Yeah, there's so much noise. So we appreciate that you have been able to make time. I don't really have much to say. I think Prof said something that I think it's important to remember. At the end of all this, we hope that as journalists, you're able to produce quality stories. You improve in your reporting, improve in the content that you're doing. If this training is going to help you be able to do that, then that will be our greatest achievement, and basically also for you to be able to use that booklet. We will also share the booklet after we get all your emails together, in case anyone was not able to download it, and especially the ones who were using their mobile devices. That's understandable. So we'll ensure that we have it shared to your emails, as well as Kenya Editors Guild are going to coordinate how they're going to distribute the hard copies to you or your offices. So asanteni sana. We hope to interact more baadaye. So just to repeat, ensure you sign as a participant in that form, and then I will be sending you your internet bundle money later on in the day. Asante.
Thank you very much, and have yourself a good day, and take care. Out. See you soon.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye-bye.